emu sam do so pa hoso beto aso afiri wona amanebo ayetia ne se yakwanwa akwada bi mu Facebook no free sabre ko betimi Oyerepa radio no makwa akohwe chesa akwada ya wono nge kra yina to bonkam ya sabe udi afa che mechi ade nyina ho ya ha dwen wono obi aso no Jesus Christ monko Oyerepa radio Facebook anase news Oyerepa radio Oyerepa news na monko hesi city
na enu ka ho a de tie ne se kane attorney general ana fa so afọ hwe papa ya ho nsam so Marietta brew upon appear what the December to judge Supreme Court to pa no kura nyame anim ni waka asem ya fa ho
na yenim se coronavirus de se de eba asase na ja kwada entumi nkire wo no se ne siko ye tete se akwada bi a hwe no kura no wo nduru ba bia kura ketekete mampole ya si bia chi no
na odi kuro bi ensu etere se omato aba to a nanso omunya bibia emfiraban ho
afensu so efa no asomudro oya asase ye fertilizer ehun komodie ni ade a watintim National Fertilizer Expansion Program no enkrobata na so ye hwe emfudie yenuane ni arokwacha so de ba sem no moka
twotwofo pani de ma NDC amanyo Korea Johnson na se nu nka tere se corona na ba ye no ama MPP fo nya sika se tam e de wi won ho ene ade a ensa no doso anwumre yi ana ye be kan kama wo se no nsia brem kase ye live e wo Facebook anwumre nti watima di achi na watimi ya hweyen wodo adwen kire ba ye be kan no kama na ye de afransam no ye de ma wo anwumre wada roma wasomfo ya tena se Korea nie wasam sasoso ana na ba di akire na bo Richmond Kwame Boga Frempong oni mame akosua nsira ba ka ontrapa ho anim ho a omo piapia ne ma prince so tachire ho a ono so child PM no kama na na kwabra kase wo brempong nie anwumre me ne
krobia sante na ubetimi akọ orepefamlive.com na nsem de akunchira gu on wakenkan bi e de efre sei na nchire mu etie de ye tie anya de ewiase sabi akusabi anya adon ka kwada de ogbo ase afoforo krampo na ampe no anu aye ntem kra so nu obi wiase aboshi mrata akire na nso so mrata akire ni nyina no ye kwan fa so ye no so nu obi wonu ma aboshi no ofiti ya na wo ye ne basa tan baby aru wo ye aboshi so ababa wa bisi so obetunyi sa to agusa na so kwa awade ase na eho kwaya atwe de ma no na ba man wo be pima yiri sisi ya de nyina ne sade nyina gu ababa wa mu na so kaskara ebi ma wato osese bi oni eni se bi oni sibi na za abre wa bi otifie ena obefo ono na e ma ne nwo enso nsamoni eni padi wo wi ase ntira nyinse ntuguo no ekosoro dodo no obi kura de ono ma na bufu kura kokopem se wonu obeto de boase akura kwada no ama kwada no anyina duru ni pani fie so aboso me nkoro no obeso bi kura tra kwa aboso me duni ade eduru no kokko wo anu ato akwada na twene tuna twene ya se fu api no de wo misa mane ba ye tie Edi Free State Experimental School empatem wo no no ewo de nyame heye kire se mo Facebook no monko hey me se Oyerepa radio Oyerepa news untimi hwe amenko ho ende yaka kire viewers discretion is advised chese enyan kwada pa wa tuna twagu wa wo kwada na wie no wa jana to dim pom antimi usakra ne kura ni tikobo ho kwada foforo sa ni tiri kura hono so ahunu na kwada to ana no ase adu akira de nyina egu akiri Jesus Christ na wa mafo yo mukopie so no Oyerepa kase adwetwe nkomo
Sasa ne nkwane ba ko ba ye ena obehwe se madam yokojo so nika bebre go akra bi da ho ni sane ne be he ya ampa kra ketu bia wo ne foforo ena di na ba beto nkwa no yiri na honom ne say section ne ade na police fo nyina ene doctor fo aba ha o ma baby nti no we no wadwe o se panyin bi na de na beto ana school nkwala ni bi se pa de ni nti ena ye nkwa no se ba yo nti hu so obi anyam ena why senti suspect say na blood on so say dem no senti suspect say e bi obi aye sa de no fie no de abebe yire na na e de say wo no ye ntutum ne ade nti ehia moa mpanifo mmere no meboa ye ne yenya ye school walls no ye ntimi nsi ne ye say de be ya odi ntimi free fee e ma me ye sa nyam ntimi nya nkola ya bia de se se nkola ya bia de wa na so ko hu se ni bia ba e ba ha ana wa to bia na mu ba ko na be yesa na ni pa na ha no ko be ba be yes experience our experience na we ni afun ana ka sekete wo pe ka yes mo de ni share pipe ni mu o de ni share na mo di say bia wa nya to inside one obi ano so ye we inside no obi share to kuro
awo hunu na no why pepe ite wo kra na ene nya no pe ya no be ya really ene nya school ene nya school ni ene na chesa because I want now one be a free market me eba me do ya no anopa so ntina be nya ko ni wo cha yo ti ye nya ntuma kata na ho a ke no say wa che sa no ba na ni wa na me afa da so police for you can't just pick man na baby odam amba no owu a police for na be sie
abusafo we ensemu a wo mo kotwahia ho na kwabrane eto ne mu ase na woni ebinim di nkomo no na mote se Oyerepa ga sisi de atomani mu no na da Facebook Oyerepa radio na se Oyerepa news na ahomete ampa o se we no obese opinions na nkofo edi tudwa na kire se obese ye share ideas and said you be sisi hu ne ma si free perception so hu ni se onipa no wo dwonsodan nim because ho ne ya dwonsodan we ya de ya dwonsodan pa tu hwa sabe be egu nsuo en wo kwhye ho no na wo hwe pipe no dem be to gata nim no a pipe no so pa ti akwadan so bobo nse saa no wo bekom ti nsuo ni nam no ho saa no na timi se ahohoro no ede ne ba beto akire wo no mo saa we wutie nkofo sema no me tudwa cha se enye nna no pakra no nipa no betumi aye je tokro we asa na nipa befam apia bonten saa no ahomete pa eno de nkofo adwen na wo no akire de na nsusu no ye be ndai 100.7 FM so bia we yi no to onso no nsuo no ne dwonso bebrebe na akwabna atwefiri dwonso dan no mo eba na
utie won na wo kasa wo akire na on say amanfo ohwe a nipa no ye no pia no ko share pipe no enti na won na ohwe no won na adwaye ho enti won na wo ko ho nyina ko dware no adware afa akoda no enti akire dem say nsuo no ma no ho ye toro no ana wapia we dey so why nipa kura awi
sabe akira de nyina
we mi hunu say enya abortion na nipa no ye anadwo na bia wokọ wo ye na em say e bia wo ko dware no na e bia akoda no efiri mu efa ye ba e bisa akwanda why nipa awi
we to apemfo no so utie bia wonim o say awo ne kan wo a e kan foforo say dwonso no nti wo be feel say bia why pressed e so akwa dwonso wan hwe ya akoda no beba nti wo ko wo kra no wonim ye ma dwonso wan dwonso ntimi ngoda bizo bia wawo ma no jesa wo dwonso ye yero pampe se dwonso ne ma ye de ade bitwe e ma dwonso ne bansa na wetimi ya otherwise ntimi ngo ntie bia wo fili press sa na wo fili se bia dwonso ye
press line no kra
kanansia na me yere wo
no kra akora ide wo ye kama pa
radi nyame
ye kama pa wa akoda yi abusafo ya mu tie anwumre yi asem no wo hu we de disepa se wo se wankasa oba Oyerepa radio on Facebook na obehwesa de enche na nyame ya adom a yebepie wo TV so no obohu sade ne emesite ka wo ti wo fie no na nka wo hwesa de ne emada TV so wo de ka akoma to enche kra bebo awura wo TV no so a na wo hu sade ne emesite ba samre ya wo nya akwanya bia se bia wo behwe news no wo TV so ne ade no wona ro mabra Oyerepa radio on Facebook ana ko YouTube ene da honom no ye wo de me se wo hwe akora na oda ho no kra bi kra wo hu abusua wo firim me ko akoda no sade firi ni kotodwe ba ne namuro mu no akora no hwe obeye player
babra ka se ne na tenten te Saudi bi
akora no hwe obeye player akora no hwe obeye player
sure de
enya me ba enya me ba mesrem wala mesrem me nteri ho me se mete da bai abusua yankwa ya nimu na eto ma bia sa na wo se ba akora no na da ho no e wi ase de ye nyina ha no nyame hwe yen ano ne ade ehia o asem na we nyina ne se mahama ya to ni pipa ato atwene nanso so de na wase ye ka ye beka ho asem ye mfa akoda no ento enche na ye nkọ mahama asem no mu abuso ye to ba de wie na kane mampane John Dramani mahama kire se wono wo ka bibia wo ka de wo wi ase nyina se wodi nkunim na de wodi nkunim saa no ana MPP amonyoko no ne maami je mensa ayo madwe so mbawi abanum na wi ase de nyame ye hira no na wa hira no obia nyame se wo hira wo se ya kramonti mfa mpabo ada ntono kura tutu mirika sa meja mfin mase no nkatia no ene omkenka wo ntiri pa ho ba camera mu ne sam trofo be din komanda se bibia no ba trese ma me je mensa ba ka se an MPP amonyoko no ana adi ni mu na asam ntia no kura se ndi disfo afa kunyan ntia MPP fo pa tramo mahama sa ba ja kunyan na nkomo na akwaye bebre na asam no kopiam e wo court ansa na asam no kopiam wo court no wodi ka te ho asam ya ka ho asam a chewo bebre asam no ba bia akoduru ene se kanema mpane John Dramani mahama wo se wapesa Supreme Court no ema no kwan na oba ne tumi wo nsamfo maako edumienu bi ho no mu a wopesa omu bie mu sade woni obi ebe kontokwa no opeso mu bie wo ma woni ma me Jemensa sade ebe ya ono ankasa bebusa ne nsam no a wo bebusa no nso so no ehia pa ena sansam no nso edimu sansam no ya asamu a ensam odeba court so court nka be man tese tumi na wonya yese wono tese wadi nkonimu a ye bese ye gifri ne nsam wo no saade ne batimi aboa ama ne nsam no aye bafua ama nsam no mu akoyedu eno te court no trans na se bi omudi asam no na sansamfua maako edumie no opese obusa ma me Jemensa no amamudi a woka bibia ebe ha dwen enti wasade asam no ko obiem tesa asam no opese obusa no ntonde wosre wo mu ada wo mu mie mu ma no na ena ebra mpanifo trans na mo se oh kane mampani John Dramani Mahama wa ukura Frank Adema NDC amanyoko no ukeze no de ebra de wokika ne de wunya sa akwa no na eba se no chachuchu kata wono na jemu Adema kane mampani John Dramani Mahama ene mo ti answer my lord my lord ene brofo de bia su ho pa ene ebuso nyanfo chachu ne ebuso chachu se chachu na adan okasayo.
We are respectfully submitting that in respect of your discretionary power to grant leave for interrogatories, there was, with respect, a duty to be fair and candid and not to act in a manner that is arbitrary or capricious. And our respectful submission is quite straightforward in this regard. Our respectful submission is that in terms of even a determination about the relevancy of the interrogatories as we had drafted them and the questions, in terms of a determination of relevancy, your lordship should at least have considered the terms of the questions posed in the interrogatories by reference to the issues in this case. Because if your lordships had made that reference to the issues in this case and to the questions that we have posed, with the greatest respect, it would be perfectly obvious that those questions were legitimate questions that required answers to be provided. So it is not sufficient just in one fell swoop for it to be said that the crucial issue of relevancy has not been established. With the greatest respect, it is not an exercise of discretionary power consistent with Article 296 for there to be such a disregard of the terms of our interrogatories.
Abushafo orimemfo chachu ena te se wo kasa no wa ben se na wo chachemu no na enu achi ana yebusa emranini edema yisi no Justin Amenuvo and you have say, mo side of the story, more 10 minutes.
Yes, my lords, we are opposed to this application on point of law. My lords, this honorable court has 6 distinct jurisdictions, different, one of which is the review jurisdiction. Lords, the rules governing review are very, very strict, and parties who seek a second bite of the cherry by way of review must strictly comply with it. My lords, insofar as the application before this court and all the other applications filed by the applicant seek to undermine CI 99, my lords, I am dovetailing the point that the review jurisdiction is very, very strict. Yes, and I'm saying that the nature of the review do not permit the grant of this application. That is why my learned friend has not been able to cite one single authority on the point. All the references made, my lords, are in respect of appeals, and some regarding original jurisdiction. My lord, that's my submission.
We a lawyer Justin Amenuvo wanu chiramo edema yisi no na enu achi do sorry ya wanu so akasa bie a lawyer akoto ampaw wanu so sorry otiamu pa.
My lords, we are opposed to this application. First, our submission is that this review jurisdiction of this court is a very special jurisdiction, and you are, because of its special nature, parties are given only a month within which to bring an application. They cannot apply for leave for extension of time to to bring an application for review. Unlike an appeal, where parties are given 3 months, and even after that, they may bring application for extension of time. My lords, this is because that jurisdiction seeks to get to have the highest court of the land review its own decision. Now, so no one comes to the Supreme Court applying to amend its or grounds of review as of right. Where there have been cases where the Supreme Court has exercised its discretion to grant such amendment, they must be dependent, if any at all, on the specific circumstances of the case.
Lawyer Akoto Ampao ana yaten nkan na ni nyina mu no PM ya oti egwamu no Chief Justice enin yeboa ana yebusa ne se papa se no de yakeka kon de mahama krata no to ana yato atwene o sai wo pe akonya so pe so busa ma me jemen sansam na ade no court ma transfer ma wasam na to agu ba bi na o twa ntia sen.
The Supreme Court rules 1996/16 has set down the threshold that the applicant has to satisfy in order to succeed in an application for review. It is a special jurisdiction conferred on this court. The threshold are A, exceptional circumstances which has resulted in miscarriage of justice. B, discovery of new and important matter or evidence which after the exercise of due diligence was not within the applicant's knowledge or could not be produced by him at the time when the decision was given. We have read the processes filed in this application and have listened to counsel. We are not satisfied that the applicant has met the statutory requirement of Rule 54A of CI16 in order to succeed in the application for review of the ruling of this court dated 19th January 2021. The application fails and it is accordingly dismissed. The panel will be reconstituted to give further directions for the trial of this petition.
As the court pleases.
Wey Chief Justice Justice enemy yeboa ana yatenen kan
afa ye hwe asem no ne fa ba bia busuafo on se enanu a asemi esore sa no no ba ku bia sa ba betwum kura omukofa ba ye no mse ye fra de bi supplementary statement ene ne say ye wura chachuchi kata ne se wo mo ne ma wo mo de ba ye nkrata ne ade no krata fa je to so be se aduonu enwotwe ho paragraph 28 ho no so hono yema kwan na sisemu kakra emra ho ene ne se so mo omadwen se bia wo mo to asem ne so a wo no behia ensisemu pa na no watimi aboa wo mo ama kwan ne wo befa so no wo matumi akoma asem no maka ne yie enti wo mo de nsem foforo bi ba be ka wo no nsem no sa supplementary statement no wo mo kofa bi foforo de ba be ka ho chachu sware ya keka ya nti anopo mo no ba pram tubrem ho nyina no na ejina mu den na wo pani chachu chikata yenti the supplementary application no.
My Lord, there is no similar provision, and we are not asking, as far as the supplement is concerned, that is not an amendment. As far as paragraph 28 is concerned, yes, we are seeking to make an amendment effectively, but in respect of the supplement to the statement of case, that is distinct from an amendment, because respectfully, a supplement is meant to add some things to the statement of case. An amendment, respectfully, is meant to change something that you do or something that you've already provided the court. So there is an important distinction. And what I'm drawing attention to in the first instance is in respect of the supplement to the statement of case. I will come to the amendment also, if your lordships will allow me. So I'm respectfully saying that not the review jurisdiction in its statement about what should be in the statement of case is no different from what is provided for.
Enchechemu achachuchi kata digu hono mono no ebisa ne say okay say wo say wo de ade bia friend supplementary application ba anyembia no enchechemu ade man say aha na mo ye so say bia mo kofa emitre ba bia atwa bibia ba ba behim no o panu chachu kata ekire se da bia o si e ka se supplementary statement a ene se asem ade aba court no ene bia kam o kofa e de aka ho ena ye fra ba ko bi so amendment ni se e bia ade ni go uyiyim ututum na de bia hyehyem entunsunsu ya edemu a ene yi my lord de wo mu anu no justice am wo soro ho to e chechemu achachu e de ma ye nti se wo mo eye sa supplementary application no eno no omo mfom omo ntomra se amendment dia a ne nke bia omo ntumi enye ehwa na da bi abato komisa ne lawyer justice na manu be sore no so da bi yati ase enye yi my lords yane mo ntia ye ntia ase kura ye tia ase enye yi da biara da ena fe na da kwa kufuado ono so lawyer opani akotu apa no so saa ono so to so se enye yi omo ntimi ni.
Yes, my lords, we are opposed to this application on point of law. My lords, this honorable court has 6 distinct jurisdictions, different, one of which is the review jurisdiction. Lords, the rules governing review are very, very strict, and parties who seek a second bite of the cherry by way of review must strictly comply with it. My lords, insofar as the application before this court and all the other applications filed by the applicant seek to undermine CI 99. My lords, I am dovetailing the point that the review jurisdiction is very, very strict. Yes, and I'm saying that the nature of the review do not permit the grant of this application. That is why my learned friend has not been able to cite one single authority on the point. All the references made, my lords, are in respect of appeals, and some regarding original jurisdiction. My lords, that's my submission.
My lords, we are opposed to this application. First, our submission is that this review jurisdiction of this court is a very special jurisdiction, and you are, because of its special nature, parties are given only a month within which to bring an application. They cannot apply for leave for extension of time to bring an application for review, unlike an appeal where parties are given 3 months, and even after that they may bring application for extension of time. My lords, this is because that jurisdiction seeks to get to have the highest court of the land review its own decision.
Entiala ya fobia no mujina mu baako abato akwamesen baako susu agina mu mana da kwa akufuado no na mote won kan no just na me no be e na afi so akutu ampaw wo mu nyina se aha o my lords am gusro yesra mu ada ade we pa no achachu kan de yene ni adua enye ye da biara da oh no ma come trap am we no ma come mu fra sesere ma san ba on ba ye a wo mu se ya gba to agu sa supplementary statement we ye yentie justice enim ye bo chief justice
by court. You've considered the submissions canvassed in support and opposition to this application. We notice that the application before this court is brought under the inherent jurisdiction of the court to file A, additional grounds of review, B, replace paragraph 28 of the original statement of case, and C, file a supplement to the statement of case. The application, which was argued before us, is not sanctioned by any provisions in CI 16, specifically from Rule 54 to 60 of the Supreme Court Rule CI 16 of 1996. In law, and by the settled practice of this court, it should be noted that reviews and appeals are conceptually different, and the rules governing the application of either of them are very distinct, and this court has in several cases exhibited remarkable consistency. Learned Counsel referred this court to the case of Ellis Tamaklu versus the Republic, reported in 2011, one Supreme Court of Ghana Law Report, page 29, which was a review application involving the liberty of the individual in issue. In such matters, the courts have always adopted a more liberal approach in the modern day administration of justice. Indeed, the application was not for leave to file an amendment of the grounds of review, as in this application. Indeed, Atuguba JSC never discussed any supplementary statement of case. His Lordship merely made reference to supplementary statement of case filed by the applicant. Indeed, all the other cases referred to by counsel for the applicant are based on original jurisdiction and civil appeals. The Tamaklo case does not in any way discuss the grant of application for the relief sought in this motion before us. In civil appeals and original jurisdiction matters before this court, there are express provisions to grant the relief sought in this application, and the court may, in appropriate cases, grant such applications in the interest of substantial justice under Rules 15, Sub 11, and 51 of the CR 16 of 1966. To accede to this application will be tantamount to expanding the scope of the jurisdiction of review, which jurisdiction is not provided under this court by the rules. We find that our inherent jurisdiction cannot be invoked under the circumstances of the case when the rules of court has made clear provisions in the exercise of our jurisdiction in this matter. We accordingly proceed to dismiss the application.
Now, sir, justice and so on. Say, woman, I drink a baku, Sabaku, Yajitum say, Gukrodo, Ariani Bejatum, Nanwanum Nafa, Yanum, Ya Pepe, Agu. Moses baby, but Yara Chicatagua, oh, Bonina Tragu. Welcome there for motions. Yabunina Tragu. The nature say, no, justice, enemy Yabua. And the Sadia, a friend supplementary statement, Yanka, say, and you may be more Fadia become Krata nas woman ya ma omudi be dia asem no e Supreme Court aja da Chikata na nko for se no eno so ne aba to agu yi yakwa anim
abusua yakwa anim na se ya abo to agu anim nsam ano ana kane aban lawyer pani na afen so atentene na ohweso se osoafo Mariata brew upon apia ana oche se ye afepa no se ne wi asete ha enti ko fara ka omutira pam ho pa se ya hu pipa ya to adre so who many years old nipanyo who ni papa hweniye na nipanye say once na ye no mo na mawia no edura na dwo mo ana da mo hu boja ese mahunu aye makwatra hokoda aka mutira pa mu and oh throw away no mo throw away ampa yenti no.
Well, today there were two applications before the court. The first application was an application for leave to file a supplementary statement of case, for leave to add an additional ground of review, and for leave to file further submissions in respect of our application for review. Now, that application was refused by the court. You heard the superior arguments of our counsel on the matter. Our counsel presented authorities, several of them, in which the court in the past has actually granted leave to applicants before the court to file supplementary statements of case. Our application was refused. Now, it's unfortunate that these rulings that are coming out of the court are so short. In the past, especially in 2013, we had detailed reasoned rulings on why applications were either granted or refused. That has not happened this time. Now, when you examine or when you listen to the ruling of the court, the only reason they give is that the rules do not allow for it. So if the rules do not allow for it, why has it been permitted in the past? And so we think that the petitioner is not being treated fairly in these circumstances. Now, a second application, which was actually the application for review, which we filed in respect of the ruling of 19th January that refused our application for leave to serve interrogatories on the first respondent's chair, that is Jean Mensah. That application was also refused. You all heard the very superior arguments of our counsel. The Supreme Court said the interrogatories were not relevant. How can the Supreme Court say that in the light of the questions that we had posed in the interrogatories?
I didn't know what my some yabana who had here. As I was with my boy, Pamiatima Pimakoyanim. Way a NDC Amonokono, Omnanim Fono Abaco, Canena, a buy lawyer Penina Fensono, was swap for your hair Pepe and Samso, Mariata brew upon Apia. Na no see ya. And another downqua a kufu ado. And my name for your Musuja, Nafan Baku, and Yura Frank Davis, or just a Radina, and this is for Sebre Qua Intin.
Now, I was listening to what my friends, petitioners legal team, was saying to you a while ago. You see, when we come to court, we are guided by procedure. It is not what you decide to do in court. It is the procedure of the court which governs proceedings in that court. My good friend Marietta blew upon Apia, who was the Attorney General of the Republic. So is my other very good friend, Dr. Dominic Ayeni, who was the Deputy Attorney General. It was in their time as leaders of the bar when the CI-99 was drafted and passed into law. I think it's unfortunate for Marietta to stand before you and make those comments that she makes. The law is not about what you want. It is about what you will get. And this business of they're talking about fair hearing and all that, in one of the authorities that their lead counsel, Mr. Tajikaka, quoted, it was stated quite clearly there that speedy hearing is synonymous to fair hearing.
Way a lawyer Frank Davis, 1 year with Jeramusa and running for the ma, His Excellency Nado Dankwa Ekufuado, Bakuning no a yes, call to no tresse. Kanaman Pani John Ramani Mahama ya on one Secra Frank Adema and this Amanuko no there Sanuko PMU our Supreme Court no set war pe Akwanya Sonkumbi set one Mami James are 1-on-1 Uniana Mini Nayato to your Wanquano no Sakonya no dear on my touch baby cry. Na ya tu wani mudada or the Pacas yes short say wa Penny Mama Yarga Uko PMU El Boko Central and Rashibi Jenny what they say to Rashibi Jeffio say my penny nada kwa father na by more modern in nay as it's reminding Covenant Tinti. Woman for mu course you upon me say universities no ntitru amane de no ban one hwe so obefo muka obefo mu ka nyina kama anka first year se say awofo no awofo bi bram ni kapre na se de yetete no anu tu se asam no akra wasan de nani a kire ba bi foforo se be kra enfa nchekira nkra de ekura nyina private institutions na eno ne private universities no na ya hwai Emmanuel Koku ya wosi anamu omrahye bedwam ye se twene no imakwaba
and a parliament a debate motion na mama yarga editor to me be gana ni musem parliament na afanu mi no nyina enkamum na omompo mampani acho na omampani enfa university for eka sabi omo kon foforo na omo to aso no omoka sabi ometua na sika ometua de first school fees no nka omampani enfa bi sansen omampani ahwe ede land bill ana wata be ede acha Ghana fo binum afenso enwuma ko bi wo ho a sabi omampani COVID-19 ba yi wabom sika famu ama omunwuma atumi agina nti ebeye se nkwala ebeko school na ma ofo sanse ebi adwuma sei na omusika sam enyina yi nti nka omampani behwe na school fees omutua no mampani be fabi so be fa ni nyina mpotumi fa ni nyina mpa onfa bie na enda ode aka ho se nka omampani betumi a esanso mampani se COVID-19 nti oboa anwuma ku nti no nka aye private universities so obi adwuma nti na baya nkontene na hye mfa nkọ na omwo mu kakra se de beye na aye awofo akom betumi ahan omo na a school fo a ebe omanya kwan so meko university ahodo no ombetumi ato aso akom na ode bet
Republic of Ghana to take urgent steps to absorb the fees of students of public tertiary education institutions for the 2020-2021 academic year and to extend support to accredited private universities as part of the national COVID-19 alleviation measures being implemented by the government of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, the new rendition of this motion is based on discussions following an earlier motion which you had admitted, or which called for the suspension of fees and which did not address the plight of accredited private tertiary institutions or private universities. And so, following discussions both in this House and after sittings, this new rendition was agreed on and duly advertised after your having admitted the motion.
Rumnya for Mama Yarga. Ano de ensemi etu dwa na se fie. Na samre ya menu kasa ide kwaje oponkroma oye Minister for Information Designate. Pama Pinato and Safra no say be ono no Minister for Information no. Ono so agent somebody be to na na me kwaje oponkroma answer no so no samre ide Speaker of Parliament Abasman Akinzo Bagwen wa puti question no ama MPP for no abatu agu say proposal and as a motion na Mama Yarga ade abato na se fie no sabe omo puti question on that. Na mamini kan monko moka kan sana ya ba tie ne kwajo ponkroma enkan debate ya omo debate wie ye no wa say parliament egitum anasempo no omo reject na no no ye the vote ana egitum anase reject ano ebetuma ye kan secret vote anasempo division head counting anase voice vote omo debate wie ye no Abasman Akinro Bagwen Speaker of Parliament ebi sampeni for na omo da fanu mienu nyina ano hanu na brisu ene o seche mensa bonsu sem omo nya ne den obi ase omo won nsam de obeka no mo beye enu nti speaker say okay ene obe put question no put question wa ujitum say yenyi ntum nka ane wa ujitum say me yenyi ntum nka dabi no dabi for no voice no akosoro ama samre ide MPP for me majority no atumi atwa faso aka no ama samre ide motion no say no for na awe na say e boto ogunti samre ide ade a yente de kwajo ponkroma say answer na obe make motion obe put motion to president and answer the request be to president animo no e wo say mekansem request na de koto mampani animo no standard ke say edi nhihye bi so etumi di emra so ense se ekofa baabi asabe ekoto mampani animo o mampani betan se adwen ho answer na we take decision enu ntino e wo se tumi di emra so na standard na yente se de kwajo ponkroma de nsem yituja answer na e beto aso ya to aso. Okay.
My good friend from Yape Fushogo on the other side, the Honorable John Jinapo on Peace FM on the 10th of April 2020, made an argument that by spending more time or more resources on electricity cuts, on supporting electricity and spending more money in that area, the Ghanaian consumer in the end was going to be worse off. Mr. Speaker, so it comes as a relief that having gone round the curve, our colleagues on the other side are the ones who are now proposing that indeed reliefs are a good thing. They are not freebies, they are not populist, but they will help some category of Ghanaians. Right, Honorable Speaker, there's also perhaps a preliminary matter I'll deal with before I substantively deal with whether or not I'll support this motion. It is on the question of whether or not the House can make a request of the President by resolution. And I take that from the comments of the mover of this new motion and our good friend who supported it. Ordinarily, a resolution in accordance with the definitions of Eskin May, I think page 424, second paragraph, is the opinion or the purposes of the House. Can the House of the people not make a request of the President to do anything? I believe the House can. But Mr. Speaker, the mover of the motion in his submission says that his intent is only to bring it to the attention of the President so that he may sit with the education policy makers, if I heard him correctly, and implementers and decide what is appropriate to do. Mr. Speaker, with the greatest of respect to my colleague, that sounds to me like something that is best articulated by a statement, because then a request, and if you examine how a request is treated alongside orders, etc. A request goes beyond simply bringing it to the attention of His Excellency the President that he and the education policy makers and implementers may implement.
Mama Yarga, for Mama Yarga, Boko Santa Message, and whatever to Message of any idea, or Mabuti against a motion, now some lady, or more Botu, now another Saturday, Nansan Common Peninsula, now I school fees to apply for university for private and offense to a public university, no, and Common Peninsula can be said about now for a common some lady, Parliament Abuti against a motion.
Koku yes etwani awusia na mu Ghana mra hye bedwam amane bo ye na wode ba enti mama yarga boko central mra hye bedwani nsam a wɔde ɛto dwamra hyɛ bedwa mu yabɔ ato agu nsa sisi de Ghana hamontu ngu a ko ya ya
so ma fo mo ho adwen no mo na ga se
mo me se mo
parliament ma fo mo ho adwen se so na bakɔ aba yabɔ ato agu a o wa za akɔ aba bi ade be so sa ka ke be help abusua ye nto aso na anu ade wa ha na yaro bi twi ne tie se fa ne COVID-19 de oboa no ho ba pa no kure ne ene amanfo so anya bi kama ene ebi nsusu awu ne nyina susu ye nsam a COVID-19 wode aba na asa asem no asa ekoda yesi yare na sa pusu no ho ye mo ye ho ban ne ade a na no ana Johnson na sie do nkatia general mosquito eche se wiase pa de say afe pa no ate ase say wiase de saa ka abo obi dwan no a nipa ni nsuo no na obi nsuo ni abre sankwan efise aladia ka abo ni dwan ya wanya kwan entwa ne mere sei no de ene atuo de amakwaku no kwaku kope banche ne bode ene sen wo se covid ba ya manfo ye adoye ne ade yi PPEs ne ade ma tobia ne ade a sem PP amanyo ko na ye kune ana eja enema no omde fa hu no mu dwiri sika COVID-19 ani pa wuo nye ho na MPP fo hwe enye ho no mo hwe PPEs ahodo anka wo se de ma wone wo ye adwuma wa yare sabia ahodo na nka wo so otimi de bo ajapade ne enkwa ho ban ho no de omde wo yo omu hudi nkwa omu ye ne banka to banka omu hudi anopa hudi awie na wei pa na yete ho wo mai mu
asemu iba ye first achinyege beto ono se na kufu ado ne minister fo na cover ya de ba ye ho achinye ba ye he enye no kure na omunim se ade no ba bia ebe yi party fo mu na ka se o aban fanti ade enye obi o ni aban fa wona ya de chu ho achinye sem ekokotoye sa tem no ne ekra no kure fix responsibility a enye ni se nka yekoduru de yedri aban sori hebeka se oman sika ba bia de oman sika to bia yenkofa mra yemfa meye yenko memme kuntia covid yensan sresre woma omusamu ye na omuso nya doye ne yemfa kuntia covid sika no bebre begu ho niema esese omode ya na omomfa nya na ye NDC fo ye ka ho asem na mpanimfo se onim se kramotiatia oyi dwumbo masala chi ayenye so ntem he said yo dogo so ye can see doctor for PPEs personal protection and my self de koto yen koto asante mantem ho e ba say minister for no ne ayifo no bi tonton donated items no e ma dwadifo ne ade nyina mu wo media no na mu ye can just say NDC for na ye dede enti MPP for be hu say abode loto bi na omo adie na eskaba omde de omo pe ana omo ya enti media ho afobuo bebre be ma kwan yo mfa so emis manage na nya ban krofo nkwan na afobuo no e de be ma omo ye de be ma wo mo a wo mutimi kan bi mani ye a na wo mo aya numumu a wo mo nka no
Trotro for penny edema NDC amanyo Oyerepa Johnson asiedu nkantia nwumre ya hya no so se Bosheba Electricals efrew na fra wo frew nyina no wajapade ya bobo ho ban wasiesie ufie ho sanso so na wo garden ne ade wo dem ho bedroom ho wo hall ho no flowers ahodo ana se bob ahodo ade be siesie ho ne ade nyina no Bosheba Electricals ma obi enkane ne de ekode wo de bo combination wo dem ho contractors nketo anasa kese ka ho asawo de akira wo se Bosheba Electricals de waba amobia ese gusu fita ya wo sere efisa ne niema no ye papa ana wasa tete so obeso obia ensa eka bienti nyame ye wado na baduru kuma sese ya Paul Segolin one Samba Hotel di hwani mu PZ Anteta Akufo danum na adum sei no so no Oyerepa FM dem ha prisons run about ubaduru ha sei ya asem no asikura 0541 125 339 0541 125 339 Belton TPC eba Mr. Duro no Paul Amantem nanso wasra di kanfo obi ajatum sampa aduro de ye aduro na aduro so de ye nipa de wo ye nipa de na aduro a una wo ko wani mu ono ene san beta eba ye wotususu ya de nyina se ama woni ene okura poma ne wahuru ade ato baabi efise beta GPC eba Mr. Duro de se ye mfa abibiduro pia nka sam de se nua hini hahama nubra enye nkonya na nipa eni gie pa nwie pa yo de wo san ho a menim baabi a wo pese wo kro de wo se ye nka ntra wo se wɔdɔw na wɔmpɛsɛ yareɛ ɛde wobɛkɔ wuo mu nti wato nnuro no apete KNG Heba omrom ebegyan house wa Fredman Heba Habme Heba ewa Asafo Dani Heba Afiye Heba ewo Aston Obensuman kwa hinu fie ho Apidan Heba nso ewo mrom Promise Heba wa Oyerepa FM hase ya enye no nko an wode ba ye wo se Belter Heba Mesa no malaria nso ha adwen Ghana hase do ma bia ni ho na se kuro bia ni ho no mu a wobakwa enye malaria free sanso na wo ya furu bia no to mu na wo pene se ya mensa disorders ni nyina nso be free ho Belter nie adupa nie 0244 939 Y93 0244 939 Y93 na waje oso na aro sanfra cooking oil no eno na yaka ho asem wa kire wa he said ya nwan ya obi a ebodin for all your programs aye aro sanfra cooking oil edese nyame wa do na wunya bi a ahoɔden na ba sa oyi wo sei sa wo de no aduane no a nkoda no edi agro kakra bi pema ekomde ye ma we are hungry just ede efrefre nkoda no ji kunu si ho kunu nkoye kwotwetwe ne kon kohwe abaya bi aduane ma eba wi akire no age na boso ne ade sa nso so na anwane bi wo ho so a anya da wo katere ma so se na wo katere ma da nyina dum wadi ante sa efe ketua bi atimi ye adwuma bi a wo pesa wo ye ne honom na wo mpade wo mpawe na wo pade he bra Oyerepa FM wo ya dodo na ato
yentu aso coronavirus no a konfa no che ba ya sabia santimantem kropon kumase ne yegina ebusua na coronavirus yi na nke nimse kwada akra de enkyere wonom tese akwada abronsi ne immune system no ne nkwamua ene kwane ani padua no sisi ne wusuo ne tina abo no rani padua mu anu adwane ebusua se ente sa ene amane ba ye tie ene se enafuadu entemu anie enkwada enkron ena coronavirus wa kire mo konfa no che anomu a ene de wanyini wo mu kura enya mfie be se dunan na emom entotofefe de aka nyina entotofefe no a wo mo enya e kura no bia enafu be se du ba ko pe 11 days ena bia kwada no na wanya so wo no ntia chese wo so akura ha dwen na ugopie kwafo no che a pani a child health director chese enkwada nkura bata no a ho oda no ne professor Samson Antwi echeche mu nyina ne se COVID-19 no abasa no kura nyakopon ne bonzematiko ehu o na se de a chechire nkwada no ono no kura no ebura adwen ene ne ntiase so pa na yentie ne nsem.
In COVID positive cases, the disease initially children were said to be spared. We have 14 of last year, but this year, just a split of 10 days, we got 9 positive cases, children. And our HIU, remember, our main pediatric HIU is 3 bed, that is full. MBU is 1 bed, that is full. And so it's so happening. That's on 2 other positive. Other 2 are well, they've been discharged. 1 person died, have been discharged. And so we had another 2, but we have to keep them at the holding area. The COVID strain that we are having now is really also affecting children, seriously, because in the first of 10 days, less than 2 weeks, we are getting 9 cases. We don't know where we're going to go. And we are already full. And so that is what we are saying, that everybody must help.
Adia so biabwa pa emu an say the protocols be adwuma ye be kura ho kan kama fa pa se be ya yenko tibi na Professor Samson Antwi eto aso se he enkwada no kura no o manya bi nsesei wo be kanfo se o mutimi kura nyi bi mu ho o be kanfo ma panifo se ni manimu ya no ye mpe ba bi na akwada coronavirus be kire ye fa no nko na ho nyina ye ma enya ba bi kura na akwada bi ache no a ye de akoto.
As it is now, we are not in the position even to bring new cases. I don't mean COVID. Anybody who is sick, you come here, we will just drag you in front, grabbing an ambulance that you came with. If there's something we need to do for you, we can do to stabilize you, then we send you back. Because our wards are full, we are exploring the possibility of getting treatment center for children. As far as I'm concerned, we haven't got a place for children. Treatment center for children. As far as I'm concerned, we haven't got a place for children. And just Monday, we were in talks with the medical director to actually talk with them. I think he also had discussion with the regional health directory to see if they can create space for children who are stable, COVID positive who are stable.
Acha say won say ono no ye pani a wodan kwada no anu hwe kwada so ko faro cha ba sabe obeka no plefa ye ntimi nya kwada bia akoda virus a kire ho biem che say ho no kra no ye ni bia sa bi mpo ho so ho ntipani fo ni manim ya mompe baabi na wo chechire mu nsoso say yesi afi mu ye ne e de to so aduonu anwatwi enefo amienu anase ekọ ne miensa entemu anie no afri be de to so aduonu nsia ebepem sesebere ha no no kura nya kopo ne mi o mo se samples na che se e wo mo a ye de wo mo fa test mu ni ade no eye hanum ne nan 504 samples ena bro nso mo take ye wo mo hwe wo mo nipadua ma no mo gya mu emu ahanu aduonu baako 251 Yeah, no, no, ma watch mu be said you na nkura chiri pongotwe. Na no 49.8% and a bass one we positive coronavirus actually one more. And no and if was ya was it bend for me and Santem when ya you
at the end of yesterday, which is the 26th day of January, we have tested 504 patients, out of which 251 are positive, 49.8%. Almost 50% of all patients who have come here and have been tested have been found to be positive. So it is the duty of us and together with you, the press, to drum home to the public about the need for us to take the preventive measures seriously.
I was going to say, and if I baby, no economy and sans one time when you know, 504 samples almost 5 years, ye any power, homo jamunia diano, emu 251, ye drama 49.8%, and a coronavirus. Actually, womu, nti, and ya betesa, ne form you no come as antam dear, and ye na jawdu when you him, na wakopem wendi. Time and chances fast food, udia coronavirus intimicho da, Adriane, we have a hip, akopa and a sre, see papa for salad papa bi, program be away no, TC, Nadiania jet, a jet, jollof papa bi, fried rice. And on the room says what a fo, a market was to scoreboard junction, 0249 030 832. Now, practice in your bosso, a quayaka, practice a charge drink, coronavirus, Rabia, when you are the city, Bessia Dunyano, so practice on Bubobia. Next original Diaso Creme, as if I did cotton 0244 164 527. Mr. Badoso, Oba Bosaba Plaza, Ebi Ewaha. Jema near my year, simply Jema body was if I got it, Massa, body betosso, simply Jema hand soup, James Bay, coronavirus management moving, who you cratch. Simply Jema dish was soup, and also there, and Kuko natures and maybe Anwa, and Kuko work kitchen hono, their room kama. Simply Jema surface cleaner, no dear, task here, well, part them, oh. And one year they pass all, we actually I will say yes. I have more Facebook we actually on there that's all. And 1 year day and I simply Jema zone and the entire and in may be an opposite give me be a free hotels, mo best eating the best bread in the cat and so. Oba Bishop Center be always Karam Danimedum 0206 64 4249. Now by Grace Gift Clinic, yeah, Grace Gift, no, stroke we processes and yet brand new to us amount diabetes, hypertension, yadiano. Say hepatitis, every A copy E, Nina Trust Yamao, typhoid and malaria bay, Ukraba Yamosa, Bama, see ye are Diano party and some Massa, and I do metu. A wizard dia, bra, Grace Gift Tobacco Nick, your laboratory service for Pebby at Yama war. Crabatan to dear with him and your bo, Yabena baby swat dead dick kama, swung, Yashia Cassia, the Maracasa quantum post or Udu him school dance one year bo, a Buaka Kufudia, and once you boga filling station ho, Yan 0246 51 A003 and 0244 126 123.
Abusua de tiene yan fia ncham wati fido mantam na ekrobe fa ose kapohe na kapohe na omo kire se no kure ne ma ha wo mo pa ewi ase ye ba de nsuo na de bibia na nso mo de ansa kra na obenya nsuo adware no gese bi asache water ne bi na da ba ne kire mo sika nyina asa.
When they say water, they will give us through water since last year up to now. When you come to this place, you see that the place is just like some place that there is no water at all. When you look at the way the thing is moving, it's not something that people can survive. See, we are students, and even how to search and get water is not. You won't get water, number one, not to talk about buying. And then we have to be buying pure water, and then a student to be using pure water back and every day. You can't go to school. Let me just set an example, and you will see what will happen. See the way the thing is moving. And me, I don't know. Is it that they don't know that there's people in this area or what? And then if the water will flow, it will be the rainy season, the time the rain will be falling. Then that is the time that the water will flow. And if that water is going to flow, it will flow midnight. And then that time you go and learn, you come, you go to school. After that, you will be learning. After you learn and you are going to, that is the time that the water will flow. How can you fetch the water? And even now, when the rain just stopped, up to now, the water is not flowing. Last year, up to now, the water is not flowing.
What's your younger? Even your call in when the Kulu can not fast, the Kulu can not fast.
So, we're okay, Nenda.
She can make that call.
Kira Shamzan Bama, having your phone.
Abusia, I just say a war, Kapo, yeah, a war, northern region, I don't know. na yɛfom adwene nkyɛn no mmerɛ mu abusua achifa akora no to so na sɛdeɛ amanfoɔ si agiga pa wɔ Facebook ntum sɛ amanfoɔ pɛnsɛm aka papapapapa ɛma no na ɛtoto ma ɔmo yɔnko ba a wɔdi saa nkura sesɛm wɔ no na abusua abusuafoɔ yɛ a mohwɛ yɛ anwummerɛ deɛ no kura nie momfa nkyɛn mu wuni akukudura menkɔhwɛ safe na wutie na dakwadwam ha ya State Experimental School dakwadwam ha ya ne nkɔdaa no kɔ school a adeɛ wei no mko hu e ba bia nkɔdaa no egu nsuo no akora bema pa otumu sɛ tentagram pa na ɔda hɔ ya kyerɛ sɛ na yɛmfa yɛ nua bema Joel Afriye Boatin sɛ da manfo si dome abaya no de ano ɔdene Joel Afriye Boatin Junior de de sha sɛ no wɔ ka no kura kyerɛ MPP for plane yɛsɛ bia play fa sɛ wo ka MPP asɛm pa na kɔdwo ɔpɔn kroman ka ho a ɛnyɛ MPP a wɔn de wa ka no plane yɛsɛ bia play fa na Frepa Champon Kawaguchi Electrical Tonsu Station hɔ no mo a ɛna wo se enya sam kutu awo ndi samanyoko no omo se Ghana for bre tachuchi kata wankasa wonim se mo se Ghana for bre mo menwe ye ho ate anyume wa cha Dr. Mahmoud Baumia Vice President of the Republic of Ghana Mano Piero so de ne de eto aso no se he abusua me ka tramo COVID-19 sese no mo ye ni so news o mo ken kan sam ate de adobo ate ne ba dwo mo so mo ya dwo na nyume de so be men na Isaac Tum o se ahodwo we de ahodwo mo de mu ha o State Experimental School bi ankura no dwonso no akura no na da hɔ no no we wu ka beka bi ansam trofo ne pe kasa na do boaten na wo se no kura nyame anim ni wo hwɛ na fe so TV bi aye loud and clear na school for private schools no nkora no mu huna ma ne papa close blink nail pope wo dia ba na so Oyerepa kasa de dem loud and clear pa wo eno mero store afrancho ya hwɛ na fe so ye nimbra no so yare no ehu mata blessie boaten wo de aba na se hey into oba pa na tima yes ade no oba pa awurade hu ne mobo ni owu didi papa abre bi mu so ni abre etere koma aye fast time omu yam nyina atwa kuro pa ma ne bi o awurade dom omu bi wate na kokonu abet wodi aba no si oh jeez akoda pa no Daniel Amoaten no si jam ento da so to wo twa na wo nkoda da bi na jam ento se pa wo to hedan also wo da wa wonu se akunya ne de eye na na do dia o nse bi kura wo bibi kakra na eye 2032 no ha Patricia Mudiaba ana osi Korea o mo chia o se ni pa de sa o hempa ba fofo na nante asesa agene Boaten oba ko ka agene Boaten do nim Korea biem wo se Hamburg ana wo hwe yen na Patricia na atwerei so hwe agene mo odidi no ana wo yese ade no de on NDC pan kura nyame ni mu se Ghana NDC for mu se bre o o ma heda o mu se Ghana for bre kwa abena anima ba semba na so wo hwe yen e wo corner ayata corner e loud and clear adwumre uchia teacher alawa and afenso amisti Virgin Chairman Sir Chelsea akrokaro say loud and clear jadembasa nana araba na so awurade akoda kama say pa na tese what awurade na Josephine Johnson hey Mama Joe ana wasi omayajo ene anwumre yi na owusu OPD sunyane na wasi kano krepa kire ND samonye konumla nim fo na peso digital fo ne se de account ne basa bibia kire sa de de ho omuni bibia ho na Victoria Dragot odiaba na se we de no kurani pa no onkro hia kwada o akwa wo bompa ye pa hia kwada pa ye obi ehuru bi ato ba bi sa no wo nya kwada we pa de na de kagije obajeje ne so pa na bo ahe Charles wo de aba na wo se East Legon na yento aso adwuma de mo transisi na si na Daniel Amoate wo oh my god labi ha na wo se awurade nyankopon ni potri mo de ne ntakra pa do ehuru na to ba bi sa no azai micro ventures one mo mo se udanyamia se se supreme court ade na wo bom pa ya se besi no eno na si o pipa no mahura to ba bi no ya wo de pa nyame nsira wo mo yemfanse Filipo ko America sem eno achi no boss ba Mr. Goss Songo and teacher constitution we are mo ase abusuada mu ina mo ase anwumre na ayoro pa
abo 7 yempon na yenko Korea de se
yensia yemra na
Korea de se Richard Frepo bo no chidom yemfa sra ma prisi oba pa prisi ya ni di bi ajada kemu ase mi nim ne na matie na akwasu yenhira ba da so na usu poko ne Christabel o nyina tachi pampe Stephanie usu se kire Edam wase yesore ampani betrans na kro bia santiri mene.
Na na kwabra kase obrempon abusuan yesia ye kakra na no tia yi paso opani SY manu bretu abusuan pani ya wankase. Na na bo achi yi adom agona abusuan pani amoako. Na na twumasi ampofo agona abusuan pani ejuratia Chief Inspector Asante Krobia retired. Na na ya oboaten mama hene eno no. Na na tiwa amoako ba pani Madam Abena Sewa Mamponten Emma ya kechiri aya Charles Ajimai UK anowo owura yire Vaidamafo moda eno nanso so na fe Sylvester Kwakubuache NS Adomako Nimo Joe eno no omugina ena esu kyerese yemfa fidie so na nto mansan nyina so made nyina omabrewa etia Madam Mary Chei onyamfinsia no aduoson enan ansa na wote ne bofo sei na waye aye ne ho hyehyeye wɔkyerɛ sɛ ɛkyena nyame yɛ adom na adepache yɛ ne a na nadekɔkye memenda no ahomakye no nan ɛwɔ abusua firi yɛ ɛwɔ edwuratia kwabere west mansini mu ahomakye no nan pa mu pɛpɛpɛpɛpɛpɛpɛ tia abusuafo na adɔfo ɛnhyɛ no nso abusua firi yɛ ɛwɔ edwuratia kwabere west mansini mu ahomakye no nan pa mu pɛpɛpɛ na wɔde yabere wɔtia atompa mu obɛgyina so bia adeɛ kyea edwuratia Methodist amusieyɛ ɔhɔ no de maame bɛkɔ akɔto wɔde ne kɔto wɔ saa wie a na owie wabɛtena akyire na wanom akyire sikasa ɛwɔ adwuratia baabi a mpempi yɛ a wɔta ɛyɛ ayie sɛ basa bi a obi efiri mu a efiri dɔnko brɛ mu kɔsi anwummerɛ no nsia ɛsoɔ na nyame yɛ adom a ne kwasi ada soɔ no wɔde awurade aseda ɛbɛkɔ akɔma no ɛwɔ adwuratia Methodist asafo nom nti yɛ abusuafo ɛnhyɛ no nso ofiri aseda no wie a ɔbɛsa akɔtena ase ɛwɔ baabi a wɔyɛ ayie no a adwuratia baabi a wɔyɛ ayie no a ewia donko kosi na nwumre no nsia ebremu yenkogya wo mu na ayie wo hoyi yenkogya ya mawiase ameche
na nasi akam enso aduana abusua tia yipa so pa na nakosi akom nso abusua pani Yowel Mina most reverend Professor Emmanuel Asante kana Ejomtani National Peace Council ono so watia yipa so right reverend Christopher Anyako Andam Bishop Kumase Diocese Mama Methodist asafo no omnyina emperifo asabra de ato ani dendenden kwadai ni Emmanuel Poku atesiao oya manager Ecobank Isaac Anochi atesiao ewo jama mem Eric Owusu atesiao London Henry Demfi atesiao nso America memu New York County multi-set nyakwa atesiao nso America mem ura Jennifer Kakari amankwa ewo nkran Vivian atesiao Kumasia Samuel atesiao America memu isanso ne oni aka chiri safra kuma atesiao London Linda ene nunua Lydia atesiao nso encourage zabru chiri fondoso womnyina ye ma ye omaka chiri womode abrɛhoɔ su ene sikyerɛ so mafo yiri sɛ womanfo emeboa wo na odihye owura ye mere atesiao otiase no nyamfie aduoso nwotwe pepepe ma mekɔ akura ehe no sei netie group ad ma mmenda e opepon de to so aduasa eche so no anfi has number plot 28 tasmanso Kumase digital address no AK 4898214 eno ne no na pepepe no yampem bigina so efusum di amano Wesley Cathedral Methodist asafum aduma ya achese de we heyey ni akiri kura no nkron bepem ba du baako sane ya mamre ne amane ko pene kurabe e utafo mu sie Kumase ya busia achese memenda no ano officers mess Rich Park Kumase no kotoko nkane bebia no me training no kotoko football club ehona chese donko bepem no sia no ma misikasa eyi ade che kwasiara de to so aduasa baako na de twa trop sumi mu no Wesley Methodist asafo imu na yede na siesom ebeba no nkron no panwa sana bisuya chese da ya hokwa afia number eye plot 28 atasmanso Kumase digital address no AK 4898214 donko bepinu sia ye de tutu patanti atuensa se momrai na meboaye
na we susu de eye fie ni fie ye yankasa ye nuaba GSSP ne nuaba ma na edafomu yi nti ye bekọ na yakoboa GSSP ay Korea no we so de ma ne ma ha GSSP nuaba ma na eda fomu yi na nya asem keto akura na se na eye nhyehyɛ no esitie omo kyerɛ sɛ emami anase papa yi onyamfinhyia aduosia ensia ansa na wote ne bɔfoɔ Ross Samuel Aduchum Donko AK Kwaku ade ho asɛm ana ye kan sei na waye ayi ne ho hyehyɛ wo kyerɛ sɛ nyame ya adomo a ɛkyena homache no nan kosi anopa no num so no ɛwɔ aduana adesibusua efie hɔ no mu ɛwɔ manso atwere nti ya mo nhyɛ no so pa na owie nso a ogyina so saa ma ade ɛkye saa no so a manso atwere ho no mo ano so no boya ufo som kama ewo Roman asafonum e de ama ewura kwaku ate na owie a na onwie kosie no ewie saa no a wa betena se ewo aduana adesibusua no hono mo a ba bia pempe ya ota eye ayie no efiri awia donko ekosi anwumre no nsia eso na ne kwasi ada so no obekọ Roman asafonum na ode Awurade aseda akoma no na owie aseda no so a ba betena se oba bia wo ye ayie no ano donko bremu kosi anwumre no nsia so to nsafra busuafo nyina se emeye wadoman no madie pa na efiri won san Ro Samuel aduchum donko brother otiase onya mfinsia no adusia ensia
ebusuafo edisi ye krako na dia kabia dia to
foforo wa Korea begunya o Korea abusia ya nkoya nimu ai na
me de ode ba no ya wi wa wi o dia na o tweda ba na ne ye
sa
edinka
ya Korea na nanu mo tia yi paso eni ekwo na abusua ya wo ya ase Joseph K